So, as always, everything that I lead you through is an invitation. Don't get hung up on how it looks. The most important cues you want to listen to are just about alignment, so knee over ankle, chest over hips, things like that, just so that you can stay safe in your body. Everything else is kind of up to you. Do what's going to feel best in your body. Push yourself only as far as you'd like to be pushed. If you need to take it easy today, take it easy today. Maybe drop your knees in those chaturangas. And if you want more of a push, add 3 push-ups to every plank pose. Do you alternate, or rather personalize accordingly. And yeah, so take off the little countdowner and we'll get started. So you're just going to want a mat or a towel or a blanket to place under your knees and wrists for this class, just to be nice to your joints. And just going to want a little bit of space. Otherwise, it's all good. All of you practicing in a chair, modify accordingly and just reach out to me separately. A few of you have to make the practice work for you in your current conditions. So we'll come to a comfortable seat, either on the floor or seated in your chair. And if you are seated in a chair, just slide yourself a little bit forward so your back's not up against the back of it. Your feet are firmly planted on the ground. Seated on the ground. We're sitting with heart over hips, head over heart, like there's a string pulling you up from the crown of your head towards the sky. Just gonna put things on silent. And then coming to rest the hands on the knees, either palms down to ground down or palms up to give and receive energy if you feel you've got a little extra to give today. Eyes can close if that's comfortable. If not, a soft gaze towards just beyond your legs is also appropriate if that feels better for you. And we'll start with 3 cleansing breaths. In through the nose, shoulders rise up towards the ears, and out through the mouth with an audible sigh, shoulders drop down and away. We'll let the breathing continue just in and out through the nose if that's available. Returning to a natural pace. And take a moment here just to arrive. Let go of everything that came before and everything that's to come up after. And become present to yourself here in this moment, here in this space. Allowing sounds into your awareness. Perhaps the sound of passing traffic or singing birds just outside the window. Maybe the humming of a light bulb or stirring of a water boiler or radiator. And allowing all sounds in, all part of this moment, this experience. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. And feel the weight where your body makes contact with the ground below you. The weight of your hands on your knees. And begin to scan the body from head down towards toes. Checking in for any places of tightness or sensitivity, any restlessness or fidgeting. And taking note to work into those spaces that call out for your attention throughout our movement practice here today. And shifting that awareness from the body, Anamaya Kosha, to the energy level, Pranamaya Kosha. Noticing where you're at energetically in this moment on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being exhausted, fatigued, ready for bed, 10 being so full of energy it's hard to sit still. And shifting that awareness to the breath. No need to change it, just observe inhalations, exhalations, and whatever space in between. And shifting the awareness up to the mind, Manomaya Kosha. Allowing thoughts and feelings to arise freely, observing them from a distance. Like an image being projected onto a screen, the storyline goes on without our direct participation. And just notice, what are the quality of the thoughts today? Do they have a positive or a negative tilt to them? Are they ruminating on the past or attempting to predict the future? Not right or wrong, not good or bad, just something to notice. And we'll bring the attention back down to the breath for our pranayama, our breathing technique. This time actively expanding the breath. Every inhale sips in a little more air. And every exhale lets something more go. Inhales, filling the belly like a balloon being inflated. The belly expands, the ribs expand to make space for the breath. And every exhale pulls in the ribs, pulls in belly button towards spine, using some muscle activity to really expunge the air. And we'll start our equal parts breathing, we've been working on all February, where we match the length of the inhalation to the length of the exhalation. So on your next inhale, bringing a count to that breath. 3, 4, 5, and so on, until you get to the very top of your breath where there's no space for more air to come in. Whatever that number might be, 6 or 12, exhaling for the same count. So inhaling for 7, exhaling for 7. Still seated up tall, shoulders pulled back, good posture. Jaws heavy and relaxed, space between top and bottom teeth, tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth. Your mind wanders, bring it back to the breath, back to your counting. On your next exhale, releasing any effort and counting from the breath, returning to a natural pace. Hands come to meet at heart center in Anjali Mudra, no space between the fingers, and the thumbs are pressed into the sternum. Consider here setting an intention or a dedication for your practice. It might be the intention you've been working with all year, or something new might inspire you to have shown up to your mat today. And we'll seal that intention with the sound of Om. You're invited to chant along with me. First, oh, hi. It's okay, baby. First, a cleansing breath. Releasing hands down to the lap, chin drops towards chest. And on an inhale, right ear rolls over towards right shoulder. Exhaling, chin to chest. And left ear towards left shoulder. Just allowing the head to gently roll side to side. Good morning, Bodhi. Hello, beautiful. Welcome in, welcome in. Just opening up the space between neck and ears and shoulders. Needing to warm up trapezius muscles. Next time the head rolls through center, hi. We're gonna roll the shoulders forward. Your eyes can still be closed for this if that feels good for you. Good morning, Scripo. Welcome in. Good morning. So warming up the upper back, space between the shoulder blades. Roll the shoulders back. Nice. And coming to stillness in the shoulders. We'll just work on some neck resiliency here. So I'm going to turn just so you can have a better look at what this looks like, but you can stay facing forward. So body's nice and tall posture, and then from the shoulders down, just stillness. Chin tucks down towards the chest. Reach the nose forward and down until it's all the way forward, and then up, like drawing a circle with the nose. Back. And chin tucks back down towards chest. So we're smoothing this out into one nice, long, fluid movement. And we'll change directions. Now it's leading with the chin. Chin's coming forward, down, scoop it back in. Back to center. Today is definitely a hat day. So back in center, just drop the ear, shoulder to shoulder. And then bring the hands to the jaw, like right at the edge of your jawbone, underneath your ear. Seated up tall, head neutral. And then just bring the fingers out a couple inches. And we're going to start sliding the head side to side. So things that could go wrong here is you turning your head. We're not turning the head's staying forward. Just sliding the neck. Second common occurrence is the shoulders start like moving to try to make this work. Shoulders are totally relaxed, no tension there at all. And the head's in one plane, so I'm not bringing my head forward or back, I'm just totally neutral. If you're having trouble reaching, just bring your fingers in a little bit tighter. Good morning. And keep breathing. Should mention that. We're multitasking here. We're breathing throughout all of the movements. 3, 2, 1. Okay, then just look over left shoulder and right shoulder. Shake that out. Back to center. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. And exhale over to the right. Left arm reaches over. We'll draw a big circle in front of the body with the left arm. Right arm follows. Big swoop over. There's really no wrong way of doing this. We're just waking up the spine. Just a little free movement in the body. And we'll change directions. So reaching over to the left. Now right arm leads. Left arm follows. I think I'm going to use your yoga whenever you do it. You have a good flow. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, I'm here every morning, 8:30 a.m. Pacific. You're invited. All right. We'll bring it back up through center and a high twist to the right. So left hand lands on right knee, right hand lands behind you. We're just twisting on the exhale and inhaling back up through center. Yes, you're personally invited. Inhaling through center, so we're not breaking any records here on deepest twist ever. We're just waking the body up to this movement. Just got one more to each side. Beginning to calibrate the speed of the body with the length of the breath. Then elbows bend, hands come towards ear height, and just give the hands a wave. Beginning to warm up the wrists, the hands, and all the ligaments in between. Palms look down towards the ground. So we're not moving the elbows or the shoulders here, we're just moving the wrist, fingers. And then palms flip up towards the sky. It's like you're trying to bring your hands, your fingernails to the top of your forearm, right? Fingers spread wide, and we're rotating here. And if you're feeling any grinding or crunching in any of these movements, there's no reason to beat yourself up about it. It's just something to notice. It's not even bad. It's definitely not good, but it's not even bad either. We're just collecting information about our bodies so that we can more intentionally and responsibly, compassionately move through the rest of our practice. And we'll just shake off water here, nice and gentle, like. 3, 2, 1. All right, so. Just gonna pull that. There we go. Legs come out in front. My shoulders always pop after doing stretching for hours. Yeah, most of my joints pop and snap, crackle, pop, all that. So we're just rolling out the ankles here, spreading and scrunching the toes. But I'm just a really crackly person, and in yoga there's a sister science to yoga. It's called Ayurveda, and it basically is a medical system that explains the world through elements. So water, fire, earth, ether, and they would say that if you snap, crackle, and pop a lot, like I do, then there's like an excess of vata energy. So that's air and ether. So yeah, like I said, it's not like a diagnosis or anything like that. It's just there's lots of air in your constitution. All right, knees bend, feet come nice and wide. I'm trying to learn only when I roll it back. I'm trying to learn pops, like, oh, popping dance style. You were saying that, right. Scapula is fun because I'm a gamer. You know what? So we're just dropping the knees side to side. Just make sure your feet are far enough apart that the knees don't land. The knees land on the ground, not stacked on top of one another. Yeah, I mean, most people in our, I shouldn't say our and make any assumptions, but in like Western society or like United States American society are going to have like upper back and scapula issues from rounding, whether you're a gamer or not, just due to the nature of our work. Commuting, like car seats are ergonomic if you scrunch down, if you like, not scrunch down, but if you slouch a lot. But they're not ergonomic if you actually sit up nice and tall. So there's that. We'll just drop the knees over to the right. Posture was bad for a while. We have to learn good posture. It's not something that is really like enforced or taught, but it is something to be taught. I always say, what is wrong with my car seat? No, yeah, car seats are really uncomfortable in my opinion. All right, hands come to frame the right knee, and I'm just light on the fingertips here. They're just kind of there for support. With a deep breath in, we'll pull it back, so we're arching in the spine, shoulder blades are squeezing together, so your scapula, it's like you're trying to hold a pencil between them. It's really exaggerated. It's like a proud pigeon top body. And the exhale, we wave down, belly, chest, head, like you're reaching towards the wall ahead of you. And like a wave, we'll roll it back up like your cat pose, rounding in the spine. Exhaling to lower and inhaling to rise. Just one more like this. And this next time you roll down, landing belly, chest, head. And the head can land on the ground, stacked fists, hands. We're just letting the body relax. And we're breathing into this right hip, right glute, right leg, wherever you might feel it. It's a subtle stretch. You're just breathing. Every exhale is an invitation to kind of relax the rest of the body and use gravity to stretch out this right hip. Gamer posture is bad. What's wrong with my car seat? Yeah. They always put shoulders in a rounded posture, right? Because the assumption is that, so when engineers and whatnot are designing things that are quote unquote ergonomic, they're going for like the median, the average of what most people are shaped like. And not how most people should sit, but how they do sit. And that's why you probably have that discomfort. They never work for me anyway because I'm too short for anything ergonomic. My feet never reach the ground in chairs. Roller coasters, terrifying. I'm like, slip right out of those. Safety buckles. Last breath here. We'll bring it back up. I'm an engineer. Oh, look at that. Cool. All right, bring it back up to seated. Right hand lands behind you on the ground, close to the hip. Left arm sweeps up. And exhale crosses in front of the chest, reaching back behind you. Inhale, back forward. And exhale, reaching across and back. Last time, up and forward. And exhale back. Bring the hands behind you and drop the knees over to the left. What's happening in chat? Oh, you guys are chemically engineering drugs. Okay. The possibilities are endless. All right, so here we are on the other side. And hello on YouTube. Can you recommend some stretches for splits or Taekwondo in general? Hey, yeah, we actually did splits in our class yesterday. But yeah, we'll do some leg work today for sure. You got it. It's all up here. Let's even out on the other side here. Light on the fingertips. Chest is facing this knee. Inhaling, we open up, pressing the shoulder blades together, open up front side body. And exhale, wave down, belly, chest, head. Inhale, rolls you up nice and slow. Connecting the speed of your body to the length of your breath. And the next time you come down, waving down belly, chest, head, come to land your head on the ground, on stacked fists, on hands. We're letting the whole body relax over this leg. Breathing into the left hip. And so when I say breathing into the left hip, right, that's like, sounds really abstract and bizarre. But the idea is almost like a visualization. As you inhale, imagining the breath, like that gust of wind, coming in through the nostrils, through the lungs, and then going to the area of the body that we're working on. So where you're feeling the stretch. It might be in the glute or the hip or even in the thigh. And imagining that gust of wind kind of swirling around in that area, picking up all of that tension and resistance. And the exhale is an opportunity to release that with the breath. And press the hands back into the ground to come back upright. Left hand on the ground, close to the hip. Right arm sweeps open on the inhale. And exhale, cross in front of the chest, reaching back behind you for a spinal twist. Inhale up. And exhale to twist, like wringing out the breath. Last one like this. Bring it back through center. Knees come over to the right. Hands come down to frame the knee, and then we'll come into our tabletop pose. I'm going to bring the right knee, you know what? Yeah. Bring the right foot forward between the hands. Let's get right into what was requested with the knee stretch, with the leg stretches and hip for splits and whatnot. So, got the right knee over the right ankle. See? Left toes tuck under, and then we're going to bring it back, back, back until you can feel a stretch on the front left thigh. I'm going to shift it forward and back, giving the calf a bit of a stretch. So if you don't feel a stretch in your calf, it's likely that your leg is not straight enough. You might have a little bend in it. So we're really engaging the back of the knee towards the sky. All right. And we're pressing the heel back as if it's going to touch the ground, even though it's not going to. And we're just pressing it back for a full breath here. And gently release the knee to the ground. Untuck the toes so that the shoelace part of the foot's on the ground. Avoid rolling out the ankle. It's pointing straight back behind you. And now the top of the foot is going to press into the ground so hard that the knee lifts. So we're gently lowering the knee and then lifting to straighten. So you should really feel a deep stretch here in your front left hip. And if you don't, start tucking the hips even more. You might be sticking your butt up. Instead, we want to be sinking the hips down and forward. So we're going between knee lowered and knee lifted. Also giving a stretch to the ankles, which is going to be important in a split as well. And last time, we're going to hold it up here, but we're not holding the breath. The breath is still staying strong. Then gently release the knee down to the ground. And we'll extend the front leg straight, bringing the hips over the back left knee. Flex through the front foot. We'll bend towards straighten. Bend towards straighten. So we just start with dynamic stretching, which just means like stretching through movement before we hold anything deep. This one seems familiar, sister. What happened is I worked out hamstrings a lot without stretching and lost my split. Yes, so that's really, really common. So strength can work against flexibility, but there's also ways to make strength training work for flexibility, but you're gonna have to stretch to kind of even it out. So 3, 2, 1. Now we're keeping the front leg straight or straight-ish. If your leg's not completely straight, it's okay. You're still working. You're still in the pose. You're still working towards whatever that fullest expression is. So now the right hip's pulling back, left hip's pulling forward. Square. Both hip bones are the same distance to that short end of the mat. And here now just point and flex the toes. You can feel what parts of your leg are tight here as we move the foot. And then foot flexed, windshield wiper the foot side to side. And I let my hips kind of go along with the ride for the windshield wiper side to side. All right, back to center. Hips are square, heel is flexed. If you feel like you got a little bit more space, you can scooch the foot forward, flex the foot, and then pull it back to get the hip back over the knee. So you should really feel it in your hamstrings, maybe your hip, calf. Some people feel it in, but we want to avoid feeling it in the knee. If you're feeling it in the knee, then you want to just allow a little bend. Sometimes our bodies can go further into a shape that is good for us. So deep breath in here, elongate the spine, and exhale, you might fold forward. This is called Ardha Hanumanasana. So Ardha means half, and Hanuman is the monkey king in Hinduism. And he is a great friend to humanity. He helps Rama in his quest during the Ramayana, and basically helps to fight the demon king that has kidnapped Sita, Rama's perfect woman. So, full breath here. Then scooch that foot in, bend back into the knee. We'll bring the hands to the inside of the right foot. And then let the knee fall open to the pinky side edge. I'll show you another angle. You stay where you're at. Monkey King, Goku and Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, something like that. So I'm just going to bring this foot out at a 45-degree angle and then just let the knee open up. So you can go back and forth a couple times just to kind of find that motion. And once the knee falls out, letting it stay there, letting the hips sink deep. This is called lizard pose. You did this pose, yeah, but I never do the knee thing. With going in and out or letting the knee fall open. Yeah, so letting the knee fall open is called lizard pose. And then here, so you should feel a deep stretch on your your right hip. If you have more space, you can even come down onto forearms. On YouTube, I'm Indian. Oh yeah, so you could definitely school me on this. And if you still have space, you can come down like onto your chest and all this stuff, but just being wherever you're at right now is all good. So you want to go to the point where it's difficult, it's challenging, but not to the point where it's taking your breath away. So you shouldn't have to hold your breath to get into a shape. And if you do, just back up a little bit. It's all good. There's no race. Really, there's nowhere to go. No one to be. But here and yourself. From here, we'll press back up onto the hands. Bring the knee up over the ankle. Left toes tuck under. Bring it in, back to tabletop pose. Gonna start my day. All right, love you, Screepo. Thanks for stopping in for the beginning of class. You know where to find us, same time, same place. Left foot steps up between the hands. And we'll tuck the right toes under and bring them back, back, back. Cool. And here we're shifting forward and back. So we want to keep the left knee over the left ankle. So see how the knee is going past the ankle? That's how I know I need to bring my back foot even further back. So that's how I'm going to avoid that not so safe placement for the knee. You don't want to stress the knee out more than necessary. Just in a controlled manner as we build up the supporting muscles around. Yeah, you're welcome. You got it. Definitely on YouTube. Pizza. Yeah. You've got it. And anytime you've got a question, just drop it in the comments. I'll do my best to give you some tips and tricks and some flows for what you're working on. So now we're pressing back through the right heel, pressing the knee up towards the sky so that you can get a nice stretch in the calf muscle. And then we'll release the knee onto the ground. Left knee over left ankle. Right toes untuck. Pressing the shoelace part of the foot into the ground will lift the knee. So remember, don't let the foot sickle in. We're keeping it straight back behind you. Pressing the foot into the ground to lift the knee. Gently releasing the knee to the ground. We're not coming all the way into, like, don't release all of your muscles into this knee touching down because you're just going to use more energy to bring it back up since we're just going back and forth, back and forth. So I'm going to hold on to some of that engagement. And then the next time you come up, pressing strong into the foot, stretching out the ankle. Got a full breath here. And we'll release the knee to the ground. And then straighten out the front leg. So a little bend, a little straighten. I'm going to keep the hips over the knee and forward a bit, just as I start to work into straightening out this front leg. And then as I get there, I'm going to hold on to that, or I'm going to come into just a straight leg, Ardha Hanumanasana, pressing the heel into the ground, bringing the hips back, the left hips pulling back, right hips pulling forward, just to straighten out, or rather to square off the hips. And then pointing and flexing this front foot, feeling what different muscles are activated through that movement. Light on the fingers. If you have blocks, you can even put blocks underneath the hands that can make this more accessible as well. I don't have blocks, but like I'll use like textbooks or stacks of DVD cases or whatever to fill in for blocks instead. The next time the foot is flexed, we'll windshield wiper the foot side to side, and I just let my hips go along for the ride. And then coming to stillness, checking in with the hips over the knee. Deep breath in, elongate the spine. And exhale, we're hinging over the extended leg. So the hands are wherever supports you. We're not putting any pressure on the top of the knee. There's no need to press the knee down here at all. We're just beginning to open up the back of the leg. We don't want to bring any more tension to the knee or anything like that. We want to focus on the hamstrings and the calf muscle. One more deep breath here. And then hands press into the ground for support. Bend in the front knee. Right toes tuck under. Bring the hands to the inside of the left foot. Actually, keep the back toes untucked now that I think about it. Just angle the toes out at a 45-degree angle, and we'll let the knee splay open. So bring the knee back in towards the arm and letting it open up onto pinky side edge, rolling onto pinky side edge of the foot. Just a couple times back and forth, like I said, that dynamic stretching. The next time it's open, just allowing it to stay there in our lizard pose. And you might play around on this side. One side might be completely different than the other. Maybe it was easy for you to come down on the other side, and this one's kind of giving you some trouble. There's no need to force it. One side doesn't need to look exactly like the other. Likely it will not. And you might play with coming down onto the forearms or even onto the chest, whatever is going to work for you today. We're just breathing strong into that left hip. We'll press back up onto hands. Knee comes back in towards center. We'll heel toe the foot in towards center. Right toes tuck under and step it up. Big toes come to touch, a little space between the ankles. And give the knees a little bend. One and then the other, one and then the other. Inhaling to a halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. So as the hips are pressing up towards the sky, the head's coming down, using that counterweight to continue the stretching of the back side of the legs. Arms can be heavy or they can be on the ground, kind of like helping support you. If they don't reach the ground, don't worry, we're just using gravity here to let it be enough. You can give the head a nod yes. Give it a shake no. Shift it back so you guys can see what I'm doing. And then we're going to slowly roll all the way up to stand. One vertebra at a time. Heavy head comes up last. Almost. Arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale, hands to heart center. Turn to face one another. All right. So arms sweep open like the letter T. And the exhale, right arm sweeps under left arm. Like Dorothy, Wizard of Oz, Scarecrow. Yeah, like Scarecrow from the Wizard of Oz, like he went that way. Trying to get my elbows on top of one another, even past one another. And then the backs of the hands come together. Maybe the right hand comes into the forehead and slips in front of this left arm. If this is feeling god-awful on your shoulders, then once you're here, you can just grab onto your shoulders and avoid all this twisting. So whether the hands are back to back, twisted in front, or hands on shoulders, it's called eagle arms. Okay. So here you might give a little circle in one direction. So if you're working with shoulder stuff, this can be really great. Thank you, Johnny, on YouTube. All right. From the other direction, we're just finding ourselves back to center. My hands can't come together. Oh, in the front? Yeah. So don't stress too much about it. Sometimes it looks like this, like a pinky. And we're slowly working our way towards center, but just mindful of the shoulders. You can also do, like I said, back to back, and just keep the backs of the hands pressed together, and that's going to be great too. All right, then we're bending in the knees like you're sitting in a chair. Right knee opens out to the side, light on the toes. Cross the right foot high, right leg high over the left thigh like you're crossing your legs just like you're in a chair. And then option here, the toes can touch down. So you're really light on these toes with the legs crossed. Or the foot comes back behind you and you can work on wrapping the toes around the calf. So, a lot going on here. So arms twisted, legs twisted, and then it'll feel like standing up is going to help you, but actually the deeper you bend in the knees, the tighter you can squeeze your legs together, whether you're in this position or this position. And we're building strength in the legs. Elbows are pulling down towards belly button, and everything's in center. So likely the body pulls us in this direction. What we actually want to happen is everything in alignment with the belly button line. There was a line from the belly button going up and down. Elbows and knees would be intersecting that line. Garudasana, eagle pose. One more breath here. And then we unravel and reverse. Uncross the leg, uncross the arms, deep breath in. Let it go. All right, we've got the other side. So inhale, you can stay standing up. I'm just coming in so I can show you. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, the left arm sweeps under the right arm. Backs of the hands come together, or to shoulders, or maybe they swivel in front. So one side, once again, might be different than the other. You just want to go as far as you can on each side. It's all good. Like if this side reaches but the other didn't, then you just go towards it. Not backs of the hands, if not shoulders. Eagle arms. Deep breath in. Exhaling, bend in the knees and open up the left leg to the side, light on the toes. Cross this left leg high over the right thigh. It's pressing back, back, back. Maybe the toe touches down, just barely touching, or maybe it hooks behind the leg around the calf. And bend in the knees is going to help you get towards that position, and then we're pulling the elbows in towards belly button, pulling the knees in towards center line. And you can kind of see how my hips are angled. I want to actually correct that. So right now I'm scrunching into my left side to kind of counter, just like naturally that's what it wants to do, but I'm actually going to elongate that so that my hips can be square. So there's always more to do. Anytime you feel like you're in a shape, there's always some more like little nitpicking and alignment stuff that there is to be done. So this is called Garudasana, eagle pose. So Garuda is another hero of ours in the Mahabharata, in that great epic story with all the Hindu gods and goddesses. Just got one more breath here. And we're releasing in reverse. Leg undoes, arms unwind. Just give a couple circles to the arms. Let's shake that out. Shaking out the legs one at a time. Shake out the hands, and we're going to bring the shake to the whole body. So I'm just lifting my heels and letting them drop with bent knees for a lymphatic shake. You can also do like full jumps, like that's cool too, totally encouraged, but even just here is great. That's where I'm at right now, energy-wise. And don't get hung up. If that last segment of all of the balancing for eagle pose was really frustrating for you, you kept falling out, you're like, this is not working in my body, this, that, and the other, well, good for you for trying anyway and for resetting. So begin again and again and again. Like when I first started practicing yoga, I was that person in class who was like, oh, tree pose, I hate tree pose, I can't do that, can't stand on one effing leg, like this is bullshit, you can do all the other things, but I can't stand on one leg. And I said that out loud in class once, which is like super not yoga culture, like you're not supposed to like interrupt class to complain, but I did it anyway because I was 14, what do you want? And the teacher was like, cool, now we're doing this every single day. And we worked only on freaking tree pose, no other balancing poses for like 2 years. But you know what? I can hold a tree pose for 10 minutes. I know, because I timed it. But only because like of that training / trauma. So I get it how frustrating it is. And showing up every day is the only thing that's gonna push you past that and get you really used to being bad at stuff and doing it anyway. It's called practice. It's okay to be frustrated and annoyed. Because you know what? Now we get to shake it out. Just shake off all that frustration, all that disappointment. Maybe you were able to get into, eagle pose last time we practiced it last week. And now you're like, what's going on? Now I can't get into this balancing pose. Like all that, whatever inner dialogue is going on, you just get to let it go. It's not wrong. It's not bad. It's just like an opportunity to shake it off. Whatever else showed up in your life this week or earlier today even that was frustrating like that like you just feel like you can't get fucking right, let it go. Just shaking out the hands. When you feel like stopping, just double time. I like lifting my shoulders and letting them drop hard because I carry a lot of tension in my upper back. Now, we've been breathing in and out through the nose pretty committedly, but now we're going to be breathing out through the mouth. Audible exhales, encouraged and invited. We're going to start our breath of joy. And that's a 4-part breathing technique, pranayama. And it looks like a sip of air in as the arms sweep forward through the nose. A sip of air in through the nose, no exhale in between. A sip of air in through the nose, arms sweep up, so it goes. So full lungs, and a big ha through the mouth, arms sweep back. Like you're throwing something behind you. So, in, ha! One more thing, because somebody threw out their back doing this the other day. So, when I say arms sweep forward, I mean arms. I don't mean back. So, I'm not twerking. I'm not like, in. Like, no. We're just arms up. Arms open. Arms up. Ha! So there's no arching in the back happening. There's no booty popping happening. Sorry to disappoint you guys. All right. So, we got 10 of these coming up. Ready? In. Ha! You just get to yell as loud as you can. In. 3 more if you haven't joined in yet. Now's your chance. Ha! Ha! Last one, make it count. Ha! Ha! Hand lands on the belly, hand lands on the chest, feet nice and wide, eyes closed. Just take a moment here. Arrive on your mat in your body, taking your body like a snow globe and giving it a righteous shape. And now we observe to see where that glitter dust settled. What has been revealed? Increased heart rate, increased body temperature, but what else? What else shows up for you when you let yourself take up space physically, audibly, when you let yourself scream? Or what shows up as resistance to stop you from fully participating? Not right or wrong, not good or bad, just something to notice. We'll gently blink the eyes open. And go ahead and grab a sip of water, maybe towel off any sweat that might have built up. Oh, hello Facebook. How are you, Juice, Brittany, and Zhao? Zhao, you've been here a few days in a row. Am I saying your name correctly? Is it Joe or Zhao? Or something completely different and I'm just butchering it, in which case I apologize and would like to correct it, so you just let me know how you're supposed to pronounce your name and I'll get it right next time, I promise. Cool. If you're on the ground already, stay there, I'll meet you. If not, you can come down with me. Inhale and sweep up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift, hands on shins. And exhale, bend in the knees deep, 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 so deep that we come to seated. So you're gonna walk your hands back so you don't land on your tailbone. Bop. Better, better. Okay. So, making sure there's nothing behind me, no blocks or water bottles. I'm gonna scooch the hips forward. Yeah. Bring the feet together. Let the knees splay out. Sorry, I'm gonna turn so that you can have better lighting. I think that helps. A little foot massage. So my knees are just open in a Garudasana, bound angle pose. So this is just like making a diamond with the feet, with the legs rather. All right, grabbing onto the ankles or the shins. Deep breath in to get tall. And exhale, we're hinging forward, just like before. Belly, chest, head. Coming to land. And you can use your hands grabbing onto the elbows as leverage to press the elbows into the knees. So am I forcing my knees to the ground? No, I'm not. I'm just giving a little resistance so that I can feel a stretch. I'm not trying to break any personal records today. Maybe you are, and that's cool too. But for me, I'm just to the point of resistance in my hips, so I can say, okay, the next exhale is just an invitation to release any squeezing or holding in the hips and glutes. Reassure my body it's safe. I'm not going to force it past any points that might lead to injury. I'm just giving the hips a stretch. Lower back, a little bit of a stretch. You might let your head hang heavy, but if that brings pain to your lower back, then just it's more of a nose towards toes kind of movement.
because we don't want to strain anything in the lumbar spine. And your head weighs quite a bit, so you can just keep a little engagement in the neck to avoid that. Shoulders are away from the ears. I'm pushing the shoulders down and back. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Last deep breath here. And press it back up to seated. Come back to the direction y'all are facing. Knees come together. Hands come behind the knees. No, don't do that. Okay. I'm just scooching my butt forward a bit so any squishy fabulousness gets sent back, stuck back here. And my sit bones are close to the ground, so you can feel my bones touching the ground. Or close to it, closer than if you were sitting on the squishy part of your butt. That makes sense. And the belly presses into the thighs. Thighs are coming in towards the belly. And I'm going to tilt back. So I have a little bit of, it feels like almost like a back bend, but it's very subtle. It's just like an exaggerated proud pigeon kind of positioning. As I tilt back, I'm going to land on my tailbone. So now I have 3 points of contact. Left and right sits bones and the tailbone. And that's going to let me start to lift my feet up until my shins are parallel to the ground. Urdhva Navasana, upward facing boat pose. So a lot of the effort here is in the hip flexors, in the core, but it's also between the shoulder blades. I'm squeezing my shoulders back to keep this nice upright position, and that's going to help alleviate some of the tension in the hips. Deep breath in and out. Inhale, releases the hands. Exhale, start to straighten the legs out just a bit. Inhale to sustain. Exhale, open up this angle a little bit more, making a wider V between thighs and belly. Inhale, sustain. Exhale, widen it a bit more. Inhale, sustain. Exhale, open it even more. Inhale, hold it strong. And exhale, full release, full body stretch. Toes point, fingers reach. Nice, made it to the ground. All right, knees bend, feet coming close to the body. I'm tucking my hips under so that my lumbar spine, my lower back is pressed into the ground. Hands come down by the sides. I'm going to tuck my shoulders under. I'm going to roll the hips up. Lower back follows, middle and upper back follow. Really tucking the shoulders under. Maybe the fingers interlace behind the back. But even if they don't, we're pressing the fists into the ground, the forearms into the ground for a lift. Squeeze the glutes, pressing the hips and thighs up towards the sky. Setu Bandhasana, bridge pose. Breathing so strong that you can see your belly lift and fall past the bridge of your nose. The weight is on the shoulders, not the neck. One more deep breath here. And we'll unclasp the hands, untuck the shoulders, begin to roll down one vertebra at a time. Hips touch down last. Knees come in towards the belly. You can give yourself a little rock, side to side. Maybe some knee circles. And then knees come in and gently roll over to the right side. We'll land right hand on top of left knee. Left arm opens up like the letter T. I'm pressing my left shoulder towards the ground. Otherwise, everything's relaxed. It's okay if your legs aren't touching the ground. It's okay if your knees aren't touching one another. Gravity is just doing the work here as we stack left hip over right hip. You might even look over the left fingertips for a complete spinal twist, Supta Matsyendrasana, supine spinal twist. Head comes up through center, knees come up through center. We'll gently release the knees over to the left, stacking right hip over left hip. Right arm opens up like the letter T, so it's not up by the head or down by the hips, it's straight out, 180 degrees. Pressing the right shoulder down towards the ground, otherwise everything's completely relaxed. Hello. I have a disc bulge in my lower back. Okay, so you're definitely going to be really mindful of where the limit is in your body. I said this in the beginning of class. Your poses never have to look the way my poses do. They should look the way that they feel right in your body, in your experience. So, never push yourself further than anything. First of all, no one can see you. It's not a dance recital. It doesn't have to look any type of way. You just want to do what's going to work for you. We'll bring the knees back through center, head up through center. Knees are hugging in towards chest. So, Yogi Meno. I'm going to give you something in one second. So here we are in center, and it's like any last movements that your body's asking for, just allow yourself to move through it. So if you're, it doesn't have to have a fancy name or anything like that. Like all class we told our body what to do, and now we're just asking back, is there anything we can do back for it? It can literally be a wiggle, anything at all. So Yogi Meno. You might be practicing in a chair. There's a few people who practice on a chair on this channel. And so maybe laying on your back and doing like a deep spinal twist like that is not going to be so hot for you. So let's not push it. But instead, you might just work on, so if you're seated in a chair facing forward, just gentle twists. So left hand to right knee, and just working on the chest opening to the side. And it's all super slow motion, like you're moving through honey. So you're just going to get to the point where you're twisting, and then your body will tell you when to stop. And you're just going to take full breaths there right at the edge. You don't want to be in deep pain in a twist. You don't want to be at like an 8 or a 9 in pain or anything like that. You just want to just find the edge of where that block is, where like the pain begins to start, and then just back off a little and work from that space. All right, my loves, so wherever you may be in that intuitive movement, those last final stretches or movements for the body, so that we can rest in stillness, so you can feel like really satisfied with your practice today. We're going to start wrapping it up and coming into Savasana, final relaxation pose. So that's going to look like lengthening the body or extending the body down the length of the mat. Feet land at least a foot apart from one another, legs so relaxed that the feet splay apart. If laying flat on your back brings pain to your lower back, as you might be experiencing, young men, I don't want to make any assumptions or project anything, but you can bend the knees and bring them to the far edges of the mat. Then tucking the hips under to bring the lower back into the ground, allow the knees to knock together in broken bridge. So I'm just letting the gravity do the work here, and that's going to alleviate some tension in the lumbar spine. Traditionally, it's with the legs extended down long, but totally personalize it as as best suits you, because we'll be laying here for a minute or for maybe 8 minutes. And the hands release down by the sides, palms face open, at least 6 inches from the body. A symbol, a mudra of receptivity. Allow yourself to receive the full benefits of all your effort here today. Shoulders tuck under to support the chest. And the head is neutral, facing towards the sky, eyes closed, or they can lower to a soft gaze just at the sky or ceiling if that's more comfortable for you. I do spinal twisting exercises. It helps to ease the pain. Great, good. Definitely staying in movement is going to help lubricate all of that. And whoever your medical professionals are that are helping you with that are going to have better advice for you than me. But I'm glad that you're here today, and I hope that something I'm saying helps serve you as well. So I'm coming up to seated so that I can lead you through this meditation. However, you stay laying down in your Savasana. Okay. And we'll start this practice just as we did the last with 3 cleansing breaths, but the shoulders just stay relaxed here. And we'll inhale through the nose and an audible sigh out through the mouth that helps alleviate or relieve some tension. Allow your breathing to continue in and out through the nose if that's available. Inviting your exhalations to become longer and deeper than your inhalations. Bring space between top and bottom teeth as the jaw hangs heavy and tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth, a symbol of chitta vritti, monkey mind. Just giving him permission to sit this one out. As all the muscles in the lips and cheeks relax. Nose and nostrils release. Gently allowing breath to pass through like waves lapping up to shore. And eyes rest heavy in their sockets. Eyelids just barely touching. Space between the eyebrows broadens as all the muscles in the forehead relax. The muscles surrounding the ears, all their wrinkles and folds, all the way deep into the ear canals. Release effort. Back of the head, top of the head, and the whole hairline relax. Whole head resting heavy. Throat and neck release. Shoulders melt away. Shoulder blades in the space between relax. Upper arms and elbows rest. Forearms and wrists release. Palms, backs of the hands, knuckles,
fingers, fingertips, fingernail beds, whole hands alive with vibration, whole hands alive with creative potential. Rest and integrate all that you practice. Upper back, middle and lower back. Rest heavy, supported by the earth below. Chest gently rises and falls, perhaps imperceptibly. Lungs naturally working to transform air to oxygen, to send out carbon dioxide, filters of our body. In between two lungs, a heart, sending lifeblood throughout the entire system. Belly naturally rises and falls with the breath, housing organs that digest and transform food into energy. All these process and function without our meticulous management. And yet we live. Pelvis, glutes, hips, rest heavy, supported by the ground below. Thighs and knees melt away. Calves, shins, and ankles relax. Heels, arches, toe ball mounds, tops of the feet, and all of the toes relax. Whole body rests. Whole body rests. Whole body rests. Notice if in your mind, if even for a moment, there was a pause or some silence from that inner dialogue. Notice if in your breath there's a sense of ease. Notice if in your body the places of tension have found space, and the places of restlessness, peace. Allow for everything that did and did not happen in class today. Know that in yoga, practice makes practice. Nothing more and nothing less. And invite your inhalations to deepen and become longer than your exhalations. And every inhale replaces the feelings of heaviness with a feeling of lightness, openness, expansion. As the attention comes to the surface, front side of the body. Fingers begin to wiggle and toes begin to curl. Let the head rock side to side. And arms reach up overhead for a full body stretch. The knees bend and roll over to whichever side feels natural, landing in a fetal position. You can use your bottom arm as a pillow, fully relaxed and fully released, fully supported by the earth below you. Bring to mind any intention or dedication you set for class today, or take this opportunity to set one now. And if that intention serves you, take it with you off the mat and into the world. Allow it to affect you and the people around you for the rest of your day. With eyes still closed or gently lowered, press your hands into the ground to come up to a seated position, just like how we started class. Hands come to meet at heart center in Anjali Mudra. Today we worked on a series of hip opening postures, hip and thigh opening postures, the focus on the legs in general. The first namaste is said silently to yourself, thanking your body for the effort it put into class. And the second namaste is said out loud to one another and to everyone that held space for today's practice. Namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone who joined me today. I hope you found something that serves you. Namaste, Bodhi. Thank you, thank you. Namaste, Papa Mario, Ben, Bodhi. I appreciate you. Yes, thank you. So tips are super appreciated, not mandatory. You're free to come here whenever and forever. But a $5 tip does get you a link to a private recording to the class or any class that you may have missed. You can just send me the date. If I don't know you in real life, then just make sure to message me here on Twitch, like in the whispers, or on Messenger, or through DMs on Instagram, or wherever you know me from, or however you can connect with me, so I can send you the link. Because I've gotten a few tips from people that I don't know your legal names. Many of you, I just know your screen names, and then I don't have a way of sending you the link, because on PayPal your legal name shows up and I don't know who that is on Twitch Live. So thank you to everyone who's been sending me tips this week. And if you're one of those people who has been sending me money and expecting a link and hasn't received a link, it's because I don't know who you are legally. So just send me a DM and I'll send you the link right away. Technology type stuff. But yeah, I really appreciate it. It does help me pay my electric bills and internet bills and all of that. And I'm just really enjoying this. This was something that I was just gonna do through the end of last year because I was kind of in a dark space and just kind of sad. And then when New Year came, I was like, I'm just gonna do this every day for January, and here we are at the end of February and still going strong. So I appreciate all of you guys for showing up and keeping me company on this journey. I'm in a much better place, like emotionally, than I was back then, and now I'm just loving the practice and loving sharing this space and time with you all. So going at least through March. I mean, like at least until March, and then yeah, I don't know. I don't really feel like stopping. Probably till my birthday on March 18th. So, same time, same place, 8:30 a.m. Pacific. Let's see. Some people have been asking for like an afternoon class for the weekdays since people work. But as of now, just assume that it's 8:30 in the morning every day. How are you guys feeling? How was class for you? Anything resonate or not feel quite right or feel really good that you want to keep doing? Looks like our friend who hopped on to YouTube to recommend that didn't stay that long. But it's all good. It gave me a direction to go for class. So I'm still kind of trying to figure out what YouTube's role is in all of this besides just housing my private links. It was good. Oh, good. I'm glad. I think Papa Mario, last time you were here, it was also, we also did legs. So maybe this is a nice little reprise from last week. My hamstrings are so tight, so it felt good to stretch them. Okay, great. Yeah, might just be like a recurring thing because I think you're seated at work a lot. But tight hamstrings in general is common. Tight and weak hamstrings is actually really common. We usually have a muscle imbalance where the front of our legs are a lot stronger than the back of our legs, and then it causes tightness because our bodies are actually trying to compensate for the muscle imbalance, the weakness of the hamstring versus the strength of the quadricep. Yeah, that was like, I didn't know that until like 6 years into my practice, and then I was just like, oh, like, that's kind of a game changer. Because, like, how are you even supposed to strengthen your hamstrings, right? So it's a lot easier to do with, like, resistance bands and stuff like that. But I do incorporate as much as I can into our daily practices here. But, yeah, it's a weird one. It's like you have to intentionally be going to, like, pull the leg in. Well, from an extended position, pull the leg in to really build that muscle up. And that, who was saying, was it Menno? No, it wasn't Menno. Somebody earlier in chat was saying that they were physically, they started like strength training, so they started losing a bunch of flexibility. But actually, there's a certain level of flexibility that you need strength to get into that level of flexibility. Because you will hit a wall in your flexibility if you're not doing strength training, which just leads to injury because you'll like stretch out your ligaments, and that'll really mess you up. Happens a lot with dancers and gymnasts, and unfortunately like with yogis as well, especially back in the day, kind of like before we had all the sports medicine people chiming in. And ligaments are almost like rubber bands that like once you stretch them enough, they never go back to the same size. There's actually no way to fix that. Not to be negative, this is just what the medical community has told me. And that's going to cause a lot of pain later on in life. So it's important to be doing dynamic stretching like we practice here. It's important to be adding strength training into your flexibility or contortion training. So you can train with a couple contortionists back on the East Coast. So that's like what I know about gaining flexibility, and just the way that they have to be really mindful to preserve their bodies from deteriorating by the time they're 40. So we want to do everything for longevity. We want to do everything so that we can move through life with ease and grace. Elongate the amount of time that we get to move easily in our bodies, and open up new pathways for movement, new patterns of movement that we feel comfortable in, so that simple things like grabbing groceries out of the trunk of a car is not going to pull a muscle, right? You know, because that stuff happens. It's usually us doing ordinary things, or if, you know, Goddess forbid, you slip on ice, your ankles and wrists are resilient enough that they don't get sprained or broken. And this is not me calling out or shaming anyone who any of those very, very common things has happened to. If you're someone who like rolls out their ankles a lot and is like dealing with, you know, chronic spraining, this is not me putting shame on you at all. Like I've broken bones in super stupid situations when I was younger. So it's not about shaming what has already happened to us. It's about building up the endurance and the resiliency so that moving forward, we're in a better position to handle that that movement, that impact, whatever it might be, you know? So that's really my goal here is just to like share that with you, and open up some body intelligence, some mind, body, breath connection. And yeah, I love this practice, and I love sharing it with you guys, and I appreciate you. And I'm gonna get going with the rest of my weekend now. Drink some water, my friends. And I'll see you same time, same place tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Bring your friends, bring your mom. Thanks for keeping me company today. It is the weekend. We should raid somebody, huh? Who's on? Mom is on. We raided him yesterday. Swiss is on. What? Okay, we're definitely raiding Swiss. Swiss is all. Thanks, Ben. I'll talk to you soon. All right, let's raid Swiss, because he has brought me so many great people, connected me with so many great streamers. Swiss_R. So we're just hop over, and we're gonna just say hello, and